Is going on? This is Pastor Nate with a special edition of Straight Since '88. And I know y'all used to seeing me and Lady T, aka Champ, up here, but this is a special edition, homecoming weekend. And for our very first homecoming, my man that I'm gonna have a time conversation with tonight, he did a set from a hotel room and had me rolling. He was talking about, there's certain things in your life that you don't want to tell nobody, but everybody wants to tell people. I think I may have had COVID. He was talking about if you had a cough in January, you would tell them people, you know what? I think I had COVID in January. He said, and that's not something to be telling everybody, but he is funny. And I've known him since 2013. He is doing something special in the RTP area this weekend at the Raleigh Improv. And I personally think he is what I call the BKS, the best kept secrets. When I look at all his materials and stuff like that, I can recite them. I can recite when he's saying the storm keeps on raging in my life at his daddy's church, and him and Jay Sharp was going because he wanted $20 and he felt like if he sing, he might get 40. I can remember when he was telling the Yolanda Adams joke when somebody deposited more money in his bank account. Like I know he is funny because he is funny, and so I was looking at this thing on Raleigh Improv because I want to do him just do, and it says his motto for his brand of comedy is laughter is good, but the message is better. His widespread appeal is contemporary enough to the entire fashion and savvy of cultural conscious generation X's, Y, Z's, A, B, C, D, E, F, all of them, but trademark enough to melt the hearts and recounts of moms. And so he's going to be in RTP tonight. We're going to have a conversation about that. He started this a marriage ministry. He didn't call it marriage ministry. He calls it real people ministry. He said because he just keeps it real, and he tells his joke. I know all his materials. They started a little online. He and his wife started a little online couples ministry, and he's like, I wasn't called to do couples ministry. He said, but when he saw the PayPal that came through, he said, "Oh, I'm called." But he is just a funny guy. He's gonna be at Raleigh Improv this weekend. The 5 o'clock show is almost totally sold out. The 7:30 show, there are still tickets, and you want to stay on because something special is gonna happen. But can y'all welcome my man Marcus D. Wiley? What's going on, man?
What's going on, Pastor Nate? You all right?
Yeah, you doing all right? Are you in town already?
I'm good. No, I'm actually in Seattle, Washington. Have a huh?
Go ahead. It was a little delay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I said I'm in Seattle, Washington. I'm currently on tour with Ali Sadiq, who's also producing my special that I'm doing at the Raleigh Improv, Marriage is Major Surgery. So we're in Seattle tonight, and then I fly back to Houston on a red eye Friday to do a relationship conference Saturday morning, and I get to RDU Saturday evening.
So, again, like I said, I look at all your material, and one of the things that I appreciate about you, and we're gonna because me and you, we just talk. We're gonna have a talk about a lot of different stuff. I saw you just celebrated being married 27 years this year too. Me and my wife were August. What was your date?
August 23rd.
August 23rd. I was 16.
Yes.
Okay. So
okay.
We in that same week now. How many kids do you have?
2 that I'm aware of.
So
we have 2.
You haven't got any ancestry.com boxes in your house?
No, but my road manager, Pastor Nate, we was at a Super Bowl party. We throw a Super Bowl party every year, and a girl from college who was dying of throat cancer, and she
Oh,
wanted to find out who her son's dad was, because the person she thought it wasn't him. Named him after that dude and everything. Asked
whoa.
not text, but Facebook my manager, hey, I need you to take a test. And he came back 99.9999.
Really?
And so that's why I always make that joke about none that I'm aware of, because of what happened to my road manager.
Now let me ask you this. How do you develop your sets? Because I know that you are 2 or 3, I think 3 generational pastors. I think your father, your
Yes.
grandfather, your great-grandfather. So how
Yes.
do you develop your sets? Because I think one of the things that we have in common is developing a sermon. To me, and developing a set
Yes.
is kind of the same. You know, I get inspiration from something. So how do you develop your sets?
Yeah, you said it. Typically it's something that has piqued my interest or inspired me, or something that has moved me. And then believe it or not, I guess kind of like you, God just started giving me all these examples and stories and experiences that I've already dealt with or that I know of. And then I just kind of put it all together, and it just come out.
Yeah, one of the things I appreciate about you, and again, I was looking at the set you were doing, and you were talking about how Ali Sadiq was telling you, listen, it's COVID, the churches are closed, but the clubs are open. Man, I'm telling you, I look at you all the time. I know your stuff, and you were like, hey, the Bible says for us to come out of darkness, and you said you prayed about it, and you said, who shall we send? And you said, send me, Lord, I go. And the thing about it is, I know you're just funny. You're just funny. Like when you come here and you minister, and we're in the back in the green room, you're just funny. So would you categorize yourself as a comedian or a Christian comedian? And what's the difference?
So I think when I first started, I never really put the tag Christian on my occupation, because there are a lot of Christians that don't put the tag on their occupation. Don't mean they're not Christian. It's not like a Christian pest control company. We only kill save roaches. I mean, it don't work like that. So, the Bible say you'll know the tree, by the fruit. And so I'm just a comedian who happens to be Christian.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you say Christian comedian, some people immediately go into, oh, he corny, or he's not going to be that good, so I just rather them see the fruit, and then they can judge it however they want to do it.
And I think that's what gives you a widespread reach of just who you are. And one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't know, I think right now I'm the Marcus D. Wiley. I'm championing, because I feel like I've known you since 2013, but you stayed true to who you are, and with this thing at the Raleigh Improv, like, I want people to know, like, you are funny. And so, I see people, I went to see John Chris, and going to see him, like, we were in front row seats, and I'm sitting there, and I'm a pastor, and a lot of his material was about church and about the Bible. Like, it's only 3 black people. It's at the Duke Energy Center. It's only 3 black people, and I'm one of the black people in the front. And he asked me, what do you do? And I said, I'm a preacher. He said, white preacher, black white church or black church? And I said, I guess black church. He said, no, okay. How do y'all do communion? He said, do y'all have those little Lunchables? And like, so I took that back, and I say that it's church. But it was like, in that area, the guy beside me was a cowboy. The guy on the other side of me had a drink with suds on it, but we were all in the same place. His material was what it was,
Yeah.
but he was funny, and we could all be in the same
Yeah.
place. So I know is a guy that I watch on Saturday Night Live. His material is just like yours,
Yeah.
but he's able to go
Yeah.
mainstream and host Saturday Night Live. And so my thing about you is you have
Yeah.
stayed to the core of who you are. Has that been a challenge? Have you ever thought about maybe if I kind of, spice it up a little bit? Has that ever been a challenge for you?
Not really. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I would love to use a few cuss words, um, just because I w- just because I want to tell the story the way I heard it, not because I just
Right.
want to cuss. You know,
Right. Right.
uh,
Right.
when you're clean, you have to find ways to keep the same, umph of something. So you got to find creative ways. So sometimes I would just love to just say it the way I heard it. But
Uh huh.
I like being clean. I'm able to do corporate. I'm able to do TV. I can go into the raunchiest clubs, and I've been in them. When I first started, I remember performing Pastor Nate at a strip club.
Really?
A strip club, yes. When I first started, and now, if you want to see if you funny, perform at a strip club after after Chocolate just got off stage, and they say, "Okay, now you go up there and make them laugh." So you have to learn how to maneuver, and I've always liked it. I've always liked
Yeah. So, do you think that like people like Sinbad? Do you think they were in a different lane? Do you think like the culture has changed? You think people, or like, how do you feel like those guys like John? And again, I'm not just saying this because you're on here, but like being in his
it.
show and being in your show is probably like the only times I've laughed like the entire time. Like
I
with
got you.
John Chris, I laughed the entire time. Every time I've heard you, I've laughed
John
the
Funny.
entire time. Just like you just last time you hear you were picking on me. You like, oh, okay, P Nate. Like they drop Pastor, and they P Nate. They going by initial. Like that was your first joke. Like you came out the gate like just killing it. You were killing me. And I was like, oh man, this is funny. You was like, yeah, I thought I was coming to something else. Y'all have an edifice, just out the gate. So do you think that's changed in this new culture? Do you think that's changed in this new
Yeah,
culture?
I
Okay.
do. I mean, yes, yes, I do. A lot has changed. I think, COVID has really changed a lot. I think, and you maybe can agree to this or maybe not, but it's just changed how church is being done. It's changed how the people, how they show up or not show up, how they do everything now virtually or online and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And so, of course, we know change is inevitable, and I haven't changed from the standpoint of my approach. Long time ago, I was at Dr. Tony Evans' church in
Okay.
Dallas,
Okay.
and I'm there a lot, and he tells me he told me a long time ago. He just sat at the table and said, "Marcus, when I preach, I inject humor so the people can receive the word better."
Uh,
And then he tells me, "So since you are humorous, you should inject word if you're gonna be doing it in these churches." And he just get up and walk off like it was like he just dropped the mic.
now let me ask you this, because I've been at a table with Dr. Tony Evans. Being at a table with him
Pressure.
is pressure. because he's so quiet. You don't know what to say. Jonathan is over there cutting up. My boy who played for the Cowboys, he's best friends with Jonathan. And then,
Yeah.
you got somebody else there, and he's just kind of sitting there.
Just sit
I'm
back.
like, yeah,
Pressure.
I said,
Pressure.
man.
Listen, the first few times I performed now, he sit up there and look at me the whole time like this. His daughter, Priscilla, she said, you know you're my daddy's favorite comic. I say, well, tell him to tell his face.
I saw him he did my boy's wedding, and he was in the corner. Okay. And Patrick Creighton was there, Michael Irvin was there, John Kittner was there, and he was in the corner, and I was like, does he really want to be here? Because he was just in the corner chilling. And so I had no idea, but I just feel like you're one of the people who have stayed true to just how you started out. And I know you go ahead.
Yeah, but what I was going to tell you, but what that did for me, it made it to where now I could do material for everybody. It made me prepare for singles, for married, for men, for women, for youth, pastors' banquets, church anniversaries. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's no event you can plan that I don't have material for, that's going to be funny as well as enlightening.
Right. So this show that you're doing on Sunday is geared towards marriages.
Yes.
And so this Straight Since '88 is a relationship marriage podcast, and it's some questions that me and my wife talk about that I need a fella's perspective. I need a brother's perspective. I had a single sister on last week, and she gave me her perspective. Her answers was just so good. Sisters got, brothers, our answers is going to be this. She said, I need to be a window, not a mirror. And I said, ooh, that's deep. That's deep. She said, I need him to see, I need to be a window. I need him to see through me. I don't need a mirror because I've seen who I am all these years. I need somebody to see me and accept me. And I was like, whoa, that is deep. And so I had some brother questions. And so I thought this was good. I just wanted to open up with, people knowing who you are, and people know who you are anyway. But I said, you know what? I can have my man on here and we can have some conversations. And so one of the things I was telling my wife, and you tell me what you think. I being a pastor and have people who are married and women who are not married, one of the things that I very seldom hear, and I know men, we don't always communicate like what's in here. Like what's in here stays in here. It ain't always gonna come out. But one of the things that I hear a lot from sisters is like, hey, what's your desire? Oh, I want to be married. I want to be married. I want a family. But very rarely do I talk to a brother and say, hey, man, what's going on? What you want to do in life? Oh, I want to be married. And so my wife, I asked her, I said, what do you think? And she was saying, because Nate, from a young age, we're playing house. We're doing family. We're doing dolls. We're doing this, where that's not the case with men. But I never, not never, because that's a strong word, but very seldom do I hear, I don't know, your experience may be different. Have you ever been sitting around when you were in college and with you and Jay Sharp and somebody say, man, you know what, I want to be married. Like my desire is to find a wife. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I had some pretty good partners. I think even though in college we were doing, what we were doing.
Right.
But I think we all knew the goal at the end of the day was to find one and make an honest woman of her.
Right.
And build a family. You know what I mean? So I think that's always been on the forefront. Just didn't know, when it was gonna kick in.
Gotcha. So you saying you believe, and that's a great answer. There's always a desire. Is there with some other stuff,
Yeah.
and there comes a point in life where it's kind of like, okay, what I've always thought about has
Yeah.
now kicked in.
Yeah. Cause see, like for me, I have two best friends, Corey, Maurice. I actually introduced them to their now wives, back then girlfriends, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hooked them up.
Right.
Now, when we would triple date, I would always have a different lady with me.
Okay.
They always had the same girlfriend. I was the guy with the different lady, you know.
Okay.
And then one day, I mean, I can't even explain it. I just woke up one day and I was like, man, you know what? I want what Corey and Maurice have.
Okay.
A down one. I mean, I want a consistent one.
Right.
And I told them the next girl I meet that I would make a girlfriend, man, I'm skipping it. She's gonna be my wife. And
Now,
that's just how it happened.
okay. So how long was that between y'all meeting and because see, I had to tell the truth because I pastor around people who I grew up with. So
Yeah.
we had to kind of change the title from straight since 88 from straight since 88 with a break because there was a break because I can't be doing this podcast. They be like, man, Nate lying, man. Yeah, you remember 10th grade, so we had to kind of change that. So how long was that breaking period? How long was that period between you finding your wife and you're getting married? Because again, I can bite your material. I know your material because I listen to you on a regular. You said having a ring is like having tickets to a Beyonce concert and you don't know when. So what made you think? What made you know your wife was the
when
one?
people say first time I saw her.
First time you saw her. What did
First
you
time
see
I
in her?
saw her.
What
Yeah,
did you see in her?
I'm a believer. I'm a believer in love at first sight. I'm a
Okay,
believer.
me too. I am too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a believer in love at first sight. Now, maybe not for women. Maybe they got to kind of grow to love you, and you got to kind of grow on them. Maybe I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a woman, but for me, when I saw her, I saw us. I saw the future.
Okay.
And I talk about this in my show, so I don't want to give it all out.
Okay.
But
All right.
when I saw her, I already knew she looked like Mrs. Wiley. I mean, I already knew that was Miss Wiley. I just
Okay.
and watch
all
this
right.
here. And this is without knowing any of her problems, flaws, or nothing.
Okay. So one of the things that we talk about
Yeah.
on Straight Since 88, was there a type that you were looking for?
I don't have a type.
Okay. Because in
Yeah.
our discussion, one of the things that we talked about on one of the episodes is people having types. And sometimes you can say you can miss out because you have a type. Like so last week when we were talking to the sister, she said her type used to be Ricky from Boys in the Hood. But as she got older, she was like, Ricky from Boys in the Hood is not a good decision for me making as a 45-year-old woman.
For sure.
So with you saying you don't have a type, what were you looking for?
I was looking for to be honest, Pastor Nate, I don't know what I was looking for.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Nah.
Let me tell you what broke me up out of types.
Okay.
Let me tell you what broke me up. In middle school, guys used to just, if the girl was light skinned, if she was a yellow, we call them yellow bones in Houston. If she was yellow, then she automatically looked good, right? She just, it don't matter. Long as her skin was yellow, she was considered a dime.
Right.
And at my middle school, it was this chocolate thing named Sharice Young. Had the long hair. pretty skin. And I would tell my guys, yo, Sharice is so live. And they would go, Black Sharice? See, and and I would go, and I would go, yo, she's killing them girls in there. But my guys, they was just on, light skin. And so for me, that kind of took me out of, I guess, any type of type. Like when I was coming up, I like a light, yellow, red, mocha, chocolate, I like them all,
Yeah.
I ain't have a type. So of course with men, first thing we see is the physical. And so I just knew when I saw Erica, my wife, I just knew it was her. It was like the light was on her. It was like she was walking and it was like, that's her.
Okay. So who approached who first? I mean, what was when did you step to her? Or how did y'all meet up?
I stepped to her 2 days later. I met her December 12th, 1996.
Okay.
And I stepped to her December 14th, 1996.
Okay.
But you got to come to the show to get the story.
You got
to come to the show to see how it all went down. But yeah, step to her. And just to answer your question, we were married in 8 months.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, we were married in 8 months. Yeah.
8 months.
8 months. And she wasn't pregnant.
So, one of the things that, I know you guys are doing this thing, meeting with couples and some different stuff like that. I don't know if y'all still doing that, but, one of the things that I hear people say a lot is I have to, if you have not gone through what I've gone through as couples, like, I need somebody who's gone through what I've gone through. And I said, well, I feel you, but I don't agree. And they's like, well, why do you say that? I said, and today is Mental Health Awareness Day. And so when somebody goes to talk to a mental health professional, you don't say, have you dealt with or are you dealing with the things that I'm dealing with right now? You just want to know, do you have the expertise to help me out? And so as a pastor, even though I haven't dealt with maybe what this person's dealt with, I've counseled enough people that when I see it, I know it. I was telling the church the other day, I went to an allergist and the lady just let me talk. She didn't take no blood or nothing. She said, you don't have allergies. You just got irritations. Because I said, do you have a problem with irritation? She said, no, but I've seen enough people that I know it when I see it. And that's the same thing with, I feel like with married couples counseling, like nobody goes to see a business person who don't have a successful business. They're going to tell you about some challenges, but you can go see a person. And so do you feel like, what's your take on that?
Yeah.
Can you?
I like what you said. Okay, yeah, I like what you said, and I agree with what you said. However, I think that marriage is different from some of the other things that you spoke of.
Okay.
Because, man, it's hard to put a finger on this marriage thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the moment I think I got it together is the very moment I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a how can I put it? It's like okay, I was on this Zoom during the pandemic with a guy, Pastor Nate. He's another comedian. We was on this Zoom talking about family, career, and blah, 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 blah. And when I tell you he was killing the Zoom, Pastor Nate, he had all the right things to say about marriage. Man, you got to date her. You got to do what you used to. I mean, they were just sending up hearts and likes and thumbs ups. And I'm just sitting there and stuff he's saying, I don't even agree with. but he was killing it. And even my wife, who was watching it in the other room, she come to my office and go, like, who is that? Like, basically saying he like a novice. So long story short, the moderator of the Zoom says, such and such, everybody want to know how long you been married. He was like, they just loving your comments and they just want to know how long you been married. And Pastor Nate, that boy said, it'll be a year in 2 months. And all that fanfare he got, man, you just see the comments now. Oh, man, shut up. He ain't got started yet. Blah, blah, blah. And so I do believe that experience in this particular area, I think it means something. Now, maybe it don't mean everything, but I do think it means something, even more so than any of the other areas people may go get some type of counseling in.
And as so, one of the things, and again, one of the things that, and the reason why we want to encourage people to go see your show on Sunday. One of the things you talked about was, and this is one of the things I teach in our marriage counseling, is don't ever say, I want my marriage to be just like yours. And I think one of the mistakes people make is, what my wife and I do is we give people the information and we let you form your own team. I know you're a basketball head. Your son plays basketball. Mine does too. And I tell people, it's kind of like if you have LeBron, KD, Ant Edwards, and just 5 superstars. Steph. And I come talk to you, and Steph, and I come talk to you, say, hey Nate, man, check this out, man. I just throw the ball on the floor and let them go up and down the court. Now, if I'm coaching at Princeton, that ain't gonna work. And I'm trying to take this system and putting it into a different type of personnel, and that ain't what I got. And so I tell people, let me give you the material,
what you got,
and you develop your team based off the personnel you got. Now, I'm telling you, this material will work, but you have to base it off the personnel that you got. And just like you were saying, Marcus, then I want you to speak on this, is, in playing basketball, when you going over plays, it ain't no defense out there. I know to pass the ball away. I know to screen away. I know the ball's coming back up to the top. There's going to be an up screen. We're looking for the da-da. But what happened when this guy not open? Do I know how to do a dribble entry and exchange? And so I tell people, just like you said, it takes about 3 years to get your system right. And so I tell people, how long y'all been married? A year? Man, y'all ain't developed no system. Y'all haven't developed a system yet. You don't know how to call audible. Me and my wife, we ought to look good. Marcus D. Wiley and his wife ought to look good. They've been doing it 27 years. You better look good. You better look like something. I want you to speak on that.
You better. Yeah. And so again, Pastor Nate, all this stuff is literally in my show. However, but I can give you some. I can give you some things around that. I give some for real. All this is in there.
Okay, and we have,
because my show is basically our story. Yeah, no, we haven't. No. It's about our story, but now with perspective. You understand what I'm saying? Because back then, man, I lacked so much understanding, compassion, patience. Man, I lacked a lot of that in the early goings, you know, and so things better. But however, to get on what you were saying, yes. So when me and my wife, and we don't really counsel couples, Pastor Nate, because one, I'm not certified. That's number one.
Okay.
And I don't try to fix relationships because some people like them broke. But when people do, ask my opinion or something, and then I share with them. And a lot of people, I think when they thought about getting married, or when they always say marriage is not what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get a lot of. Marriage is not what I thought it would be. And I always tell them, you're not what you thought you would be. So have you divorced you? Have you left you? And they're like, well, what you mean? What you mean? Well, what you mean? And I tell them, I'm saying all that stuff you wrote in your high school yearbook,
Right.
who you was gonna marry, what job you was gonna have, all that. Ain't none of that manifested yet.
Right. Right.
but
Right.
but you ain't divorced and then I also share with them that marriage, this is just my opinion now, I don't think it's in the Bible, but you probably can find it. But marriage is it's like other aspect of life except marriage. We respect seasons. And so I share with them, when you didn't have a job or you didn't have money, and you was in your broke season and your unemployment season, you never said, I'm gonna divorce trying to make money or trying to get a job.
Right.
You kept at it until that season hit.
That's good.
And so, sometimes in marriage, especially when you've been married, as long as we have, it's gonna be some seasons that you're gonna have to endure. But things, it's coming back around.
Yeah.
So, I just try to share that, most times.
Yeah, I tell people to never make a permanent decision in seasons, because seasons change. And sometimes what we can do is we can make permanent decisions or say stuff in seasons, and then the season changes, and you've done so much damage in the hard season that when you get on the other side, it's tough to take back the stuff you said and stuff that you did, and then you started having this conversation with somebody because you wasn't happy at home, or you start and then the season changes, the sun comes out, it becomes summertime, and then you have to redo what you did in that season. That's gon' change.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's
crazy.
it's going to change. So what will they get from this show? What will they get from this show? Because they gonna come. You know what? I tell you what. Before you answer that, we the couples ministry here at Now Church, we are going to send 10 couples to the 7:30 show. I tell you what, we're gonna change that up because I got some sisters that'll get me. We're gonna send 10 couples and 10 singles. Also, singles, is it for singles too, Marcus?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Okay. So I can't leave. So 10 couples and 10 singles. Now the singles, you don't get to go find another person. The ticket is for you. So in the comment section, I tell you what you do. Put your information on there. And Danielle is in the back room. She's gonna take the information. She's gonna purchase the tickets, do all that stuff. So look, if you're having problems with your tickets, y'all talk to Danielle. Danielle's gonna handle all that. But so 10 couples and 10 singles. Because I just, this dude is funny. He's funny, and I say dude with all due respect. He's a man, but he's funny. I know it's gonna be a blessing to somebody. So we're gonna send 10 couples, which is that's 20 people, and then so we're gonna send 30 people. Now Church is going to we're gonna send 30 people to your 7:30 show.
Thank you.
On Sunday. So go ahead and pick up where you were.
Thank you. Yeah. So the show is called Marriage is Major Surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is major surgery. I explain that a little better during the show.
Okay.
And so basically what I'm just trying to enlighten people with, Pastor Nate, I think that the love songs, the romantic movies, and now podcasts, not yours, not straight since '88, but 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 all all these podcasts, watch this, that I run across from time to time, and it's people talking about marriage and talking about relationships, and to me, they unqualified, uncertified, unverified, just just unaware, just aloof, because a lot of times they're not even in relationships, or they're not even in marriages. They just talking amiss. And so I waited until I made 25 years of marriage.
Yep.
Before I felt like now I can talk about marriage. I wanted to have some type of statistic,
Right.
and I think so I started working on this show in the pandemic. I started working on it in the pandemic. I had time. And so I started working on it because actually in the pandemic, me and my wife relationship got better in the pandemic, when a lot of people's relationships in the pandemic got worse. And so that's what started it, and that's what started. That's when I started hearing all the marriage is not what I thought it was going to be. And I thought this was going to be fun. Like, ain't nowhere does it say marriage is fun. Fun is a part of marriage,
Right.
but marriage ain't fun. Now, don't,
Right.
Come on now. This ain't Disneyland.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, are there two jokes that's gonna be on your show? I want you to do one for us. One of the two. If two of them in there, then we'll scratch them. But when you came to Now Church, you told this joke about relationships, about flag on the play. Do you know the joke I'm talking about? About throwing the flag. Or the one about the couple you saw in the airport that hadn't seen her boyfriend in a long time.
Oh, baggage claim. Yes.
Baggage claim.
Yes, no, that was her husband.
Her husband.
Yeah. That was her husband. Yeah. Because on that joke, I talk about how I didn't grow up seeing a whole lot of public affection between my mom and my dad, or my grandmother and my grandfather. Right. Like, they wasn't all on each other, touchy-feely, kissing all in public. Typically, I see that from other ethnicities.
Right.
And so on that particular joke, which is a true story, I'm sitting next to a white guy on the plane. We land in Houston. We walk into the baggage claim talking. And then all of a sudden, this white lady is running towards us. And she just jumps on him, straddle her legs around him, kissing him. I'm talking about tongue kissing, like real heavy kissing. They fall on the ground, they rolling, and they rolling all on the dirty baggage claim floor. And I'm like, yo. And so she get up and go to the restroom. And then I go to him. I said, say, pimp, is that your girlfriend? And he like, no, that's my wife. And I was like, what? And I was like, how long you been married? And he was like, 16 years. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, how long you been gone? and so He said, I just left last night. I said, oh my goodness, and so I was like, that's the type of marriage I want.
Yeah.
I want this nasty baggage claim marriage, what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, my man, it's good to have you on here tonight. And so we're giving away those 30 tickets in the comment section.
Yes,
they're in another room. They're seeing it because, not just because we're trying to do a good thing as a church, but this man is funny, and I believe that he is one of the best kept secrets. And I can't wait till the day that I see him on some mainstream like Saturday Night Live or, packing out these, on this tour that I see all these other guys, because I believe he's that good. And I respect him because he stayed true to what he feels God has made him. So he's going to be in Raleigh, Cary. I think it's Cary. Raleigh Improv this Sunday, 5 o'clock show, sold out, 7:30, still tickets. And I don't know if he wants me to say this, but, if there's a good, us supporting him can propel this to something else. Because if people's like, man, people are really coming out to see him, that's another level for him. It's kind of like when a musician or artist comes, the pastor say, we want to make sure they don't leave with nothing. They leave empty-handed. And, and they consider that being a blessing. And I think that for what you do is, if we show up, and it's not just believers, and it's not just Christians, it's not just preachers, but if we just show up to support one of ours, we talk about supporting black business. This is how this man feeds his family. And so if you want to support a black business, that's what you do. That's what you'll be doing if you'll go out and support Marcus D. Wiley this Sunday, October the 13th at the Raleigh Improv. You can go visit Raleigh Improv online. I know they got some stuff they're running about him on Instagram. Buy your tickets, take somebody, and let's go support him, and let's help support somebody go to the next level. Hey, enjoy Seattle, my man. I salute you.
Yes, sir.
I believe the best is yet to come. And we're going to have you back down here for our couples ministry soon. February.
All right. Yes, sir.
February. We're going to go ahead and get on.
I want to say thank you. Thank you, Pastor Nate. I appreciate you. And now, church, thank y'all for the support. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the push. Thanks for having me on straight since 1988.
Straight.
Yeah, I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. You know what we're going to talk about next. You know what we're going to talk about next week?
What's that?
Me and my wife going to be back on, and I saw one of your specials. Next week we're going to talk about what does it mean when somebody implies they are the head of the household. I heard you say you on the road and you come back be trying to run stuff and been gone the whole time. And you try to change stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. Being a team, and what does it mean to be the head? I'm the head of the household. So we'll see y'all next week, episode 4 of Straight Since 88. This is Pastor Nate with my man, Marcus D. Wiley. We'll see y'all next week. Peace. Time to set it